Ladies and gentlemen, all the way back in 2020, just before the deadly COVID hit, there was a movie out called Fallen Angels. And if you look deep into the archives on the website, you can find my original review of that movie. But it's taken 4 years. Now, admittedly, a lot of that time was taken up by the COVID shutdown, but it's still taken 4 years for them to come out with a sequel to this movie. The original movie, you know, I said back in my original review, I don't know that it was worthy of a sequel, but nonetheless, it's here. This is one of those movies that, in the guise of being an action movie and certainly setting up some heroes, it tries its best to bash, if you will, Christianity, and it does a fairly good job of doing it. For example, in this movie, much like the first one, the archangel Michael, who in Christian religion is, God's most powerful soldier, the one responsible for defeating Satan. Yeah, he's the bad guy. Okay, so they immediately take him and turn him nasty. Now, if you remember the first movie, Fallen Angels, he wasn't so much a nasty bad guy as he was kind of sneaky and conniving, which certainly are not traits attributed to the Archangel Michael. In this one, he's just gone completely to the dark side and he's just a nasty character. When I read you the names of the stars in this movie, you're going to say, but Professor, those are some pretty big names. Yeah, they've done a nice little bait and switch ploy on this as well. They have these stars and they do appear in the movie, but really nothing more than cameos. They kind of pop in, and then once they've been overtaken by the bad guys, they're replaced by these matted demons, and they don't need to appear on screen any longer. So they all have maybe 5 minutes or less of actual screen time. I got to tell you that the edits in this movie were very, very sloppy, and so were the fight scenes. It was a real struggle for me to get through, and that's just my opening remarks. As cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Salutations, another Suddenly affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. And if you haven't figured it out yet, tonight's lesson plan is Angels Fallen, Warriors of Peace. And it is the sequel to Fallen Angels, which was made back in 2020. This movie, I gotta tell you, I'm not exactly sure how this fits in with the original one. There's a few characters that certainly are carried over. I told you about in the teaser open about them making the Archangel Michael the heavy, the antagonist, if you will. Another character that's done in this is the character of Balthazar. Now, most Christians will know that name because Balthazar was one of the wise men who came to visit Jesus at his birth at the nativity scene. He was the one who brought myrrh as the gift. But, and this is another sneaky little twist, Balthazar is also the name of a Babylonian god. And this god wasn't, well, shall we say, he wasn't squeaky clean. Not always the best sort of fellow. And he's the person who is trying to lead warriors of peace. In the first movie, Balthazar was played by Michael Madsen, and he played it in the same way Michael Madsen plays almost every role, kind of the almost a ripoff of Robert Mitchum, a a kind of dour and hardcore Pulp Fiction type character who speaks little and is surprised by very little. This time around, Madsen takes a back seat, and we have a Cuba Gooding Jr. as Balthazar. I guess that's a diversity thing coming in there. It all sets around the story of an Iraq war veteran. And this veteran has a lot of weight on his shoulders. He needs to discover his purpose in life. And Balthazar is here to let him know that his purpose is to lead the war that will prevent the apocalypse.
Gabriel, your number has been pulled. I'm afraid you're not asleep this time. You've been recruited.
I did my time. I was honorably discharged.
I'm not talking about serving your country. Talking about serving mankind. Good and evil, eternal salvation. Angel Michael has closed the gates to hell. And those lost souls are trapped here. He's using them to build an army to rule over the living.
Look at me. Now you've seen my face.
Get your team. Find the warriors of peace. It's only then that you will be triumphant.
Looks like I made it just in time for the show, huh?
Why me?
I know you got what it takes.
It looks like a Nani cell phone.
Hello? Hang on. It's for you.
I'll see you in hell.
As you wish. Okay, I told you on the onset that there were a lot of stars in this movie. Denise Richards swings by. I haven't seen her in a while. She plays Deborah. Randy Couture is in this one. He plays Marcus. As I said, Cuba Gooding Jr. plays Balthazar. Josh Burdett is Gabriel. He is our protagonist. And Arithin Putra is his right-hand man, if you will, a sniper called Trigger. You know, the big name stars basically are doing a walkthrough in this. It really doesn't require them to show any of their thespian muscles. Randy gets, one kind of token fight, if you will, to show off his fighting skill. And other than that, once they're incorporated into the war, they become these matted demons, and they don't even appear anymore into the movie. So it's kind of over and done with. The actors who are not names are really trying in this movie to add a bit of gravitas to the story and their roles, but it just doesn't come off. It really doesn't. Director of this movie was Ali Zamani, and here we have a gentleman who's a Muslim trying to do Christian characters, and it's not working at all. It was written by Chris Cato, and I think Chris needed a little more liturgy lessons before he put this one to pen. Cinematographer was Artur Gubin. He does an okay job. The special effects in this are typical for any sci-fi Saturday night. Remember when Sci-Fi Channel used to always debut these kind of schlock B movies on Saturday night, kind of equal to that. Nothing that would be spectacular, but something that at least you can get by with anyway. Speaking of getting by, perhaps now it is time to travel back to the early Cretaceous period and check in with the nation's first and only prehistoric film critic, Rex Reed.
A movie struggling to find a cohesive blue, a poorly conceived conclusion, and a mired plot. Better to just hang out at the tar pits.
Thank you, Rex. And as we mentioned, Rex, probably should tell you that there's a big end of summer sale going on at the official Rex Reel store. All the summer items like the outdoor grilling barbecue apron and hats and the t-shirts, they're all on sale now at 25% off the official Rex Reel store. You may want to swing by there and take a look at all those goodies and snag them while they're on sale. The name of the movie is Angels Fallen, Warriors of Peace. The first one was so-so. This one is less so. It was really a struggle to get through this one, I gotta tell you, and it took a lot of prodding to make it to the end of this. Yeah, you may want to check it out just for, kicks and giggles, but not on your must-see list, let me tell you that. Hey, don't forget, Rex and I are also now on X. It took us a while to get there, but we're there. And let me throw up the URL for you. There it is. If you'd like to subscribe to us on X, you can. There's nice little dialogues going on there, back and forth. Dialogues about movies and things that happen. We try to put something up there at least once a day. And some of that stuff is sparking some pretty interesting threads along the way. Rex Reel now officially on X. We hope you will swing by and join. Until then, now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.